I'm going to give you 5 things that you can do to actually get the narcissist to dump you so you don't even have to get away from them. Hey, before we even get started, I want you to know that I have a free resource for you. It's below in the description. It's free, there's deeper connection, there's more interaction, and I think it'll really help you, and I would like to meet you. Oh, one more thing. If you could please comment, like, subscribe. It's like oxygen to me. It helps others, and it helps me to create more videos. If you're new here, my name is Michelepaiva, and I want you to get away from the narcissist because they can drain you in a million ways. They can make you sick. And during this whole COVID situation, we don't need to have anything else lowering our immune system, especially a narcissist. Number 1, understand that a narcissist does not see you as a sacred being. They don't see you as someone that they actually could even love. So I know that you might feel that way, and I know that you probably have a lot of hope, because a lot of times when people are looking at these types of videos, they're looking for some level of hope or some level of they're not going crazy. And I know that you might be in one of those 2 areas, but understand, number 1, you're probably not going crazy, and number 2, they probably don't love you. But let's talk about how you can actually push them away super easy, because it's actually easier than you think. A lot of us have narcissists in our lives that come and go. It doesn't mean that they're a romantic partner. It just means that you have a narcissist in your life. There's a lot of them around, and it's not unusual that you might run into 1 or 2. And it doesn't always mean that it's a romantic relationship. However, if you're here right now, there's probably one that's a little thorn in your side and you are just over it. And I know that you probably also have some level of hope that it could get better. And the only way that it could possibly get better if the narcissist comes clean, deals with their stuff, and starts working on it. And that's going to take a lot of time and energy. The narcissist doesn't want to do that usually. So don't hold your breath on that one. You've probably invested a lot of time as well. You feel really invested in this relationship, whatever that relationship is, whether it's a friend, whether it's a partner, a spouse, it doesn't matter. You feel probably really, really invested in it, and you have a million reasons why you should stay. You should try to work it out. They had a bad life. Blah, 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 blah. There's a million reasons. But understand, they only objectify people, okay? They were probably objectified too, but it doesn't make it right, okay? So when I say that, I don't want you to think like, oh, they were objectified, I need to show them love. No, 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 no. They were objectified or abused or neglected, and they need to deal with it. You deal with you. They are treating you like something on a shelf, where instead they should be treating you like a sacred being. You entered this relationship a sacred being with lots going for you, and you know what? You still have all of that. It's just clouded by their negativity, their abuse, and their neglect. Now, one of the things that happens when you're really tied up with a narcissist is that they really know how to get to that spot in you that's really vulnerable. You might have had a parent that was an addict or sick, or maybe they were just a workaholic, or you had a parent who just was a narcissist as well, or maybe toxic on some other level. But either way, you learned in some way that you didn't deserve love, and you craved it your whole life. Now, when you were 5 years old and you turned 6, the 5-year-old didn't suddenly just vanish, right? So that 5-year-old, that 10-year-old, the 12-year-old is still within you. The child is still in there. So the whole idea of an inner child really is a thing because it didn't vanish, okay? It's still there within you. And the scars and the hurt and the vulnerability and the wounds of that child in you are all still there. The number 1 worst thing that you can do if you're with a narcissist is to start working on your inner child. I've had many women that come into my office that want to work on the relationship. Now, here's the problem. You can't work on a relationship with a narcissist. You have to work on your inner child, and they have to work on their inner child. And only after that's all done, then you can start working on the relationship. The problem is that the narcissist doesn't like to work on themselves, and they don't want vulnerability, and they don't want to get better, really, in a lot of ways. So they're not going to work on their inner child. It's too scary for them. But the problem is that you're probably going to start to realize that you have to work on your inner child, and you're going to do that. And guess what happens? Your inner child grows up. Your inner child heals, and your inner child suddenly is not attracted to their inner child. And that is one of the key ways that you can grow and become emotionally distant naturally from the narcissist and release their hooks. There are two different things you can do. Go no contact or gray rock. No contact is exactly what it sounds like. You just stop dealing with them. You don't accept their calls, you don't look at them, you don't talk to them, you don't give them any energy at all. But for those of you who actually have to interact sometimes with the narcissist, you just go gray rock. You just don't care. You just are boring, you have no reaction, and no matter what they do to try to get a reaction from you, you just act like a gray, boring rock. They don't like that. They're always searching for vulnerability, they're always searching for drama, and they're always searching for a way to get your energy. You can't get a whole lot of energy from something that's just sitting there like a gray rock. So let's just say I've talked you into the idea that this narcissist probably isn't going to get better and you deserve more out of life. What can you do? Well, there's 5 things. Number 1, you can just wake up. So the number 1 thing that you can do is wake up from the dream that it's going to get better, wake up from the nightmare of neglect and abuse, and just wake up and let them know that you've woken up. And when you wake up, it's going to be pretty obvious. It's going to also seem like everything that happened in the past is sort of like dreamlike. You don't know how you possibly couldn't see through it. Number 2, call them out on their behavior. They hate that. They don't like to have any kind of interaction, and they call interactions confrontations. They turn every discussion that you have into an argument, into a drama, into a roller coaster. And that's all ways just to deflect from them actually having a conversation. They would rather have the drama than a conversation. Drama they can handle. They've lived that their whole life. But accountability, not so much. So when you call them out on their behavior, you're expecting them to have some kind of accountability. Now, you might have been going through this for years, okay? But there's going to be a time where you just get fed up and you say, I'm done. The other thing that you can do that they really don't like, set boundaries. They can't stand boundaries. They love people with loose boundaries. I bet you actually met your narcissist when you were very vulnerable and you had looser boundaries, when you were more like an open wound. They love that. And so once you start to have boundaries, that's strength, that's power. They can't stand that. They want you to be pathetic. As soon as you start setting and keeping those boundaries, they're not gonna like it. The 4th thing, this one's a little harder. This is when their little tricks don't work anymore. This often comes in the form of triggers or little favors that they do to you. So for instance, they got you in the beginning because of love bombing, right? So whenever they feel like they might lose you or lose your energy source, they start love bombing again. Now, if you haven't really worked on your inner child a whole lot, you're going to feel like that love bombing is another chance, or maybe they see the light, or they value you because they're buying you something, or they're taking you places or doing favors for you. But once you work on your inner child, you're just going to kind of look at them like, I don't think so. There is nothing that they can buy you that would make you want to go crazy with them again. You just can't put a price tag on your happiness, your peace, and your sanity. So there's nothing they can do. They have no power. The last thing that you can do is just be completely fed up. When they have drained you, maybe financially, maybe emotionally, spiritually, physically, when they have drained you, you're just done. And when you get to that point where you just are done, you just know it. And there's nothing that you can do about it. Now, I know that as I'm saying these things, you've probably been through all of them several times over. Remember, it does take sometimes several times for you to get to that point of you just don't want to take it anymore. And one of the reasons is that when you were younger, when you were a child, whether your parent was sick, had an addiction, they were a narcissist, toxic, whatever it is, whatever happened to you, there was a withdrawal of love. Even if your parents didn't mean to do it, there was a withdrawal of love. And when that withdrawal of love happened, it was very painful and vulnerable. And you would have done anything in those moments to just get love. So the narcissist has this kind of street smart going on that they don't even know that they have. But they automatically know that if they just shut down, you will escalate more. You might cry, you might get angry. There might be some kind of a drama on your end because they are giving you the silent treatment, because that silent treatment is so painful. But if you work on your inner child, you don't care that they're giving you the silent treatment. You don't even want them at the lunch table. You don't care. And I just want to leave you with this. If someone really loves you, you know it. There's never a question of it. Even if there's arguments, even if there's ups and downs in the relationship, you just don't question that they love you. And you feel a level of trust, and you know you can depend on them no matter what happens. If you're with a narcissist or with someone who just doesn't love you, what you feel is confused. There might be times where you feel loved, but then there's times that you don't feel loved. There's times that you trust them, there's times that you don't trust them. You wish you could count on them, but you know you can't count on them for some things. There's a lot of up and down, a lot of roller coaster internally with you. You just feel confused. That confusion is a vulnerability, which actually feeds the narcissist. Once you're clear on what you want and what you deserve, and when you don't have that confusion anymore, the narcissist loses all of their power. You now regain all of the power, and it's up to you what you do with that power. I'm really big on taking the high road, so I would say that just cut ties with the narcissist, get them out of your life, and move on as much as you can with as little contact or no contact if possible. But now you're armed with the wisdom of not only the hurt and the rejection and the pain, but you're also armed with the healing and the empowerment and your own healed inner child. Your inner child, when it's healed, grows. Anything that's injured, it stops growing to rejuvenate. So when your inner child was struggling, it wasn't really growing. And once it started to heal, you started to grow and mature even more and become even more empowered. Don't forget, I have a free resource below for you. Sign up and let's get more personally connected. It's free, there's deeper connection, there's more interaction, and I think it'll really help you, and I would like to meet you.